I was curious, you're now in your third season here and you start out with a really young room. Just kind of what are you seeing from this group and in terms of progression and getting to what you wanted with the defensive tackles?
What's up, Kelly? Good to see you, man. I ain't seen you in a minute, dog. um, I've been pleased with the development of our technique. A lot of the techniques that I teach are sometimes difficult to grasp. So it's taken a little bit, and now I'm starting to see a lot more consistency within the entire group of what I've been teaching. So that's probably been the thing I've been the most pleased with. Is it perfect? Nope, and I won't be happy until it gets there. But we are making strides in a positive direction, which has been something that I've been very happy with.
Okay, next question comes from Rod McKenzie from 247 Sports.
Hey, Larry, talking
What's
about
up, man?
that group of 6 or 7 guys, you've had them for those 2 or 3 years. Has anyone gotten to the point where they're starting to separate themselves from the group? Someone that really stands out to you?
Separation, no. But a lot of guys are starting to show that they're more trustworthy. Because at the end of the day, who plays is going to be who I trust the most, especially in key situations. And so they're trying to prove to me that I can trust them. The cool thing is the older guys that y'all have seen over the past few years playing, the John Brooks of the world, the Jaquan Griffins of the world, those guys that have been around for a while, Lockhart, even Akilo, those guys that have been around for a while, you're starting to see an elevation in their play. And then you got guys like McKenzie that come into the program, and he learns fast and he catches on early, and he's looking like he's going to compete and push those guys for a lot of that playing time. So it's going to get very interesting as we continue to work through spring ball, and even as we get into camp. It's going to be a lot of competition for playing time because it's some good players that know what they're doing.
Next question comes from Ken Segura from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution.
Hey, I was curious how TK has been looking so far.
We finally getting his weight down. So when y'all see him, make sure y'all talk trash to him about how he a chubby buddy, and he'll keep on losing that weight. The more you get on him about whatever the expectation is, like he will work his tail off to whatever the expectation you have for him, he work his tail off to fix it. So we've been trying to get his weight down. As y'all can imagine, anytime it's an offensive or defensive lineman in a situation where they can't run, you can imagine what happens when they get a hold to a bunch of snacks and not able to run. So that was that was the issue for a while, and now I think he's putting the snacks down and he's able to move around a little bit more. Every time he loses 1 pound, I hear about it, and so and I'm saying all that to say that it's allowing him to move better. Now he's starting to move like his normal self. You know what I mean? Focus is always there. It always has been there. Leadership is still there. That's always been there. It's just physically getting himself back in his normal football shape, and he getting close. He really is.
How long has it been cleared to do football activities?
I'm not sure. I can't answer that question. He has been putting in some work with us. He has been participating this spring.
Next question comes from Jeff Schultz from The Athletic.
Hey, Coach.
What's going on?
You've got a few transfers coming in on the defensive line this year, and obviously freshmen too. I was just wondering, what do you expect in terms of immediate impact from those guys, and anybody in particular?
Anybody that we bring them in to contribute right away. Whether it's a true freshman, whether it's a transfer, it does not matter. When we recruit you, it's not just talk about, oh, you can come here and play right away. If you're the best player, you will play. If you're one of the best players, you will be in a rotation. I think we've proven that with guys like Jamin Brooks. When we first got here, Jamin was a walk-on, and he was one of the best guys in the room, so he played. You know, you look back at last year, Akilo Stone came in as a true freshman and played. So we expect those guys to be able to contribute right away. If they get here and they're not able to contribute, we're going to keep working with them and developing. Another example is Michael Lockhart. He wasn't ready for the first half of the season his first year here, and eventually he worked his way into the rotation, and his reps increased as that time went on. So we expect those guys to be able to contribute as soon as they get here. That's the expectation.
Anybody who, and I realize we're just in spring right now, but anybody who has stood out among the newcomers yet?
Machias has stood out with his attention to detail, his ability to learn fast. Greg Carroll has stood out with his effort. I mean, a saying that I have, I'd rather say woe than sick 'em. And I'm saying woe to him quite a bit, so that's been cool. Really, man, all the freshmen, I always admire the freshmen that come in early like this. You know what I mean? Because my tail would have been in prom somewhere with somebody's tuxedo on, dancing on somebody's daughter. But those guys chose to come here and get better. You know what I mean? So it's been really cool. That doggone Josh Robinson, man, he takes the coach and you can yell and scream and poke at him and press his buttons and it's yes, sir. And whatever it is, it's immediately fixed. You know what I'm saying? So that's been a cool experience to have those guys that come in early and have attention to detail and are coachable. That makes you excited as a coach. I know y'all gonna use that line too. I thought about it after I said it.
It's in my head. I'm debating. I don't know.
All right, we have time for a couple more for Coach Knight. We'll go ahead and take one from Kelly Quinlan, and then we'll wrap up with Rod and Ken.
Coach, you the way you guys rotate guys, everyone plays, and that's above the line and all that. How much is that starting to pay dividends in terms of getting guys like Aquilo and Lockhart last year played a ton, and that you have this wealth of experience now as you mix in young guys like McKenzie and
it makes things much more competitive, and it makes me be able to hold them to a higher standard. Because the moment they slip, I can say, one of the things I can say, you have played meaningful snaps in football games. So they understand what the disappointment level is when they're not executing things the right way. Also, they understand that there's somebody breathing down their neck that has experience, that has played, that has proven themselves. So it's going to be, y'all will see as time goes on, it's going to be increasing some guys' snaps. It's going to be decreasing some guys' snaps. It just depends on what their performance is at that time. And it goes week to week to week to week to week. You know, you have to come in and be consistent. The true sign of greatness is consistency. If you're not showing myself and Marco that consistency, you're going to be standing right next to us holding the money down sign. That's the way it's going to work, you know. But if you showing us those things that we have an expectation of, you'll be out there on the field showing out on ESPN and in front of your family. That's the way it works.
Okay, two more for Coach Knight. We'll take one for Rod McKenzie, then wrap up with Ken Segura. So, Rod.
Hey, Larry, how important was it for you to get Brooks back, not only in terms of making plays on the field, but for his leadership abilities?
Shoot, you answered it. I mean, those guys look up to him. I mean, there's something to be said when you pay your way through school and you basically are paying to play football. You know what I mean? So you look at a guy like that is paid to play football for 3 years. Then he finally works his way into the lineup. Not only does he work his way into the lineup, he works his way into the starting lineup. Then not only does he work his way into the starting lineup, he makes plays. Then he earns the first number 0 in school history. That was a big deal for us, who was going to wear that number first. And so he earned that opportunity. And then he just keep working. He's fighting through the academic part to graduate. He's about to have his degree soon. And those guys see that. It's not even much to even be said. When you see someone that put in that type of work and you see those type of actions, you know what I mean? I hear what you say. I trust what you do. And so they trust what he does because of what he's shown them in the past. And is proven. He's proven himself, and everybody follows just because of that. So that was huge getting him back. I don't even think when we found out last year that they could come back, I don't even think I put a period on the end of the sentence. And he was like, "Yep, I'm back. I'm coming back." You know, and that was that. So it's been a very exciting moment for myself and Marco when he told us that, and it's been a pleasure to continue to coach him.
Okay, last one for Coach Knight from Ken Segura.
Larry, I kind of want to ask you about prom, but I'll save that one.
Yeah. Hey, I was flying prom. Look up the pictures too, by the way. I had the white with the pink on. You know what I'm saying?
I'll take your word for it. I can believe you. But you mentioned attention to detail, and that's something that Coach Collins just mentioned. Kind of how does it look like in your room as far as what kind of things are you really stressing them that we've got to be better at this? You know,
eyes. Every play begins with sight. When we have our eyes in the wrong place, our hands go to the wrong place. When our hands go to the wrong place, our feet go to the wrong place. When your feet go to the wrong place, you're done. Play is over for you. You know what I'm saying? So that's been the biggest stressor. You want to see me throw a temper tantrum, it's going to be based off of where their eyes are going and where their hands are going after their eyes go there. And so that's been the key. That's probably one of the most underrated things in D-line play. Everybody thinks it's about hands and feet and all of that. It's really about eyes. So that's been the largest stressor that me and Marco have been on these guys about, because again, every play begins with sight. And once you put your eyes in the right place, then you can do what you need to do and execute the right way and help the team win.